We found Trinity Oaks online, of all places.
Yes.
And we were looking for another alternative to the public school system, which we'd been in for many years. And we were both raised in Christian households. We have a Christian family, raising our kids with Christian values and finding increasingly at odds with many of the things we were experiencing in the public school system. And we were also just looking for a better environment for education overall. It wasn't good on so many levels, socially, educationally, spiritually. So we just started looking for alternatives. And then we started praying, of course, for some form of educational alternative. And then my wife found Trinity Oaks. You can take the story from there.
I literally searched up Christian schools in the area. Trinity Oaks was the top one on the search bar. I looked it up. I saw that we could do a tour. I immediately emailed, and we came and took a tour. And that's kind of the rest is history that brought us here. So I wasn't as hesitant as my husband about sending our kids to a Christian school because I went to a Christian school, so I had an idea of what to expect. So he was a little more hesitant because he went to public school his whole life and did not want our kids to be in a bubble, which I understand at the same time, so he can share the rest of that.
Yeah, so any reservations I had, more to do with the idea of not wanting to shelter our kids from the world. The reality is we're going to be in the world, but we're called not to be of the world. And so we'd always been in the public school system, felt like we were a good, witness and presence there. Additionally, we just didn't really believe sheltering our kids is necessarily going to produce the fruit that, we really want to see, Christ in them, the hope of glory, and, to be an actual transforming presence and light, say in the community. My reservations were more to do with, is this going to be a school where, we just try and, for lack of a better word, create an ivory tower where we can, just stick our kids and until they're adults and, we say things like it takes a village to raise kids or a family, and that's true. The reality is we often don't have really good intentional options in terms of like who's a part of that village. And so what I would say that has really been sort of a blessing in disguise is I personally was thinking we're coming more for the education specifically, but the reality is there's a wonderful community here. And you can't have too many positive, like-minded voices that share the same values you do, as far as I'm concerned, speaking to your kids' lives. And that's really where I think the school shines more than anything. And the reality is the teachers want to be here. You don't just decide to come to a school like this. You're kind of called here. It's a calling for the faculty. And what are they called to? To invest in the students and in our kids. And to a degree that I just think you don't see in the public school arena. And that's not to be overly critical of the public school, it's just the nature of the way things are. So we've been extremely encouraged by so many of the faculty in terms of just the way they really care for the kids, outside of the classroom as well as inside the classroom. So you can add that.
Well, that's been an answer to prayer for us because we have a small church and our boys are the oldest boys in our youth group, and so we were praying for other men and older boys to speak into specifically our boys that are juniors now. And when they came in freshman year, they had amazing teachers and older boys that were seniors that really spoke into their life that we had been praying for and craving, and it's truly made a difference in their lives, which means it's made a difference in our home.
Yeah, and I would just add too, our kids were not very enthusiastic about attending the school either. So, for anybody maybe listening to this that is apprehensive, like how are my kids, if you're coming from a different environment, I would say more quickly than we thought, our kids were very positively impacted and very favorable to the new environment, because change is hard. And especially for children, sometimes you put them in an entirely new community. I think they recognize right away, this feels more like home. It's a little more community centric in terms of just how it functions and making friends and connections. And we've wound up making friends that we had not anticipated making as well.
Yes.
So it's a very nice, it's just a wonderful community in that respect that really does I think, love and care for the kids.